Last year I didn't accomplish every single thing I set out to do. I made some progress, I learned a lot, and overall it was a pretty good year. But this year is the year where you will lock in fully and get the most done, see the most change, see the most growth, see the most everything, man. Whatever you have and whatever you've been thinking and whatever you've been putting off, it is time to lock in, man. Not just for yourself, but for your family, your friends, anybody you want to do it for. But most importantly, it is for yourself, because you got to focus on yourself. When you lock in, you got to focus on yourself, and you got to focus on the things that matter to you, because everybody will have a different idea of success, and you got to define that for yourself so that you can put all your energy, all your time and focus into that, and not allow anybody or anything like distractions, negative people, negative energy, all these different things that will throw you off your course, your path, whatever you want to call it. So first and foremost is finding out what success means to you, whether it's a family life, friendships, giving to people money, exploring the world, fixing things, restoring things, understanding more about a religion, understanding more about the world, history, whatever it is to you, man, whatever success is to you, you gotta first find that out. So then you can really just focus on things that help you improve, learn in that category. And then you gotta really sit back and think, what are some things that are taking me away from that? And of course, there's gonna be things that you can't really, I guess, take away that easily. Like, you got a job, you got to make some money. You got a family, if you care about them or if they're in your life like that, you're going to want to spend time with them. You're going to want to do all these different things. But things like that are not necessarily bad in a way. Of course, you might want your financial freedom and you don't want to be working that job, but that will also take time. And then that's where you got to focus outside of work in creating that so that you don't have to go to work. You know what I mean? Family life is always important. Enjoying that time with the loved ones is always important, so I don't see that as a bad thing. But if your family or certain family members only bring you down, use you, things like that, you will have to separate yourself. And it will be weird, it will be hard, and some of y'all are in a position where you can't just like get up and leave, and that's even harder. But we all have these situations. You got to find a way, and of course it's going to be harder for some, but you got to find a way to do what you can or do what you must to separate yourself from that, or at least learn a way to kind of not let it affect you so that you can still continue on with pursuing your purpose, let's say. And you really got to focus in on it, man, because this year can really be the year that everything changes. Take last year and you probably made some progress, and I'm gonna use myself as an example. I made some progress in a lot of things, man. I accomplished a lot of things I didn't think I would have accomplished. I stepped out of my comfort zone and did things that I wouldn't have been able to do beforehand. I got out of my shell, I became more confident. I was able to ask out the girl I wanted to ask out. I couldn't even talk to her for the longest time. Some of my older videos will explain it. I saved some money up. I jumped on an opportunity. I did a whole bunch of little things that I'm proud of myself about. But I also allowed myself to be distracted and to fall back into a rut. And that was really hard for the last couple months. Not because like I was going through the most crazy situation in life, but I had a goal and I was heading towards it, and I fell off the path, and that really affected my mental and my emotional state. And I always freaking was on here talking about how you shouldn't let those things affect you and just to keep going. But man, I fell into it. Let's be real. I stopped posting for a couple months, and it really just slowly wore me down until I got to a really bad point. And then just recently, I kind of got that mindset back, and I said, you know what, man? This isn't gonna be it. So let's lock in, let's focus, and get back on the grind. And it has been slow, but that slow progress is better than no progress. Trust me when I say that. Because when I was off of it completely, I did not feel like myself. I was not able to be myself, and it really just freaking hurt. But I'm gonna use those last couple months and last year to learn from it and approach these situations that might come up again differently. And in doing so, I will be able to stay focused on the things I want to pursue, achieve for this year, and I won't fall off the horse as easy. But again, it could happen. I don't know. This is just me, and right now with that mental state I'm in, where I really feel like, you know what, man? It's time to lock in and get the things done. I know it won't be easy, and I know I'll probably fall off a couple times. But I'm not going to stop, man. Consistency is also a big part in locking in this year. Be consistent through the good and through the bad. And when you feel like stopping, you got to go harder. And you hear all these things. You've probably seen multiple motivational videos talking about this stuff. I know I have. And then you feel like, yeah, man, like, nah, this time I'm gonna change it. This time I'm gonna be different. This time I'm gonna really get it done. By the end of this year, this, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Trust me, we all have that, especially in the start of the new year. You might have felt like the last couple months been a waste, so you're like, you know what? This year is different. And it probably will be for a little while. But you'll be really tested when you fall off that horse, fall into that rut, into that hole. That's when you're really gonna be tested. And if you really handle it different, lock in. And locking in doesn't mean just grind and grind and grind, man. Locking in also means you gotta focus, how I said, on the things that distract you. Whether it be vices, drugs, alcohol, friends partying, women, whatever the case may be, man. You gotta figure that out for yourself. And separate yourself if you really wanna accomplish this. But also make time for the things that you really value and appreciate in life. If it's for yourself or for people around in your life that you love. You know what I mean? It could be a hobby, or it could be just spending time with people. Make time for that, because that's also very important. But just separate yourself from the bad thing. And I feel like, I don't know, it depends how you grew up, and it depends on your environment, a lot of different things. I never grew up partying, I never grew up drinking, I never grew up with none of that. But I did pick up smoking for a little bit. For 4 months, I would smoke every single day. And that did nothing for me, so I quit it. And then that allowed me to, one, feel better. I'm gonna do another video about smoking, because some of y'all really gotta get off of it like I did. Because that was doing nothing for me but making me feel worse, making me lazy, and losing me money. So I had to get off of that. But lock in this year, man. This year you can really change everything, but you will be tested when the hard times come, and that's when you will see if you really are gonna have a different year. And don't be discouraged if you freaking fall off of it, man, and you can't come back, or you can't, because you know what, it happens. But it happens for a reason. And if you don't do the work now to try to figure out what causes these things, or what throws you off your balance, then it will just repeat itself. So try to figure that out and find out ways that you can either separate yourself from or deal with it in a better way. And lock in this year. Focus on what success means to you and work towards that. You know? Literally just work towards it. And if you don't know how to work towards it, reflect on yourself. what are some things about you that you want to change? And then you will focus on those goals to lock in. So lock in with yourself first, man. If you're shy and you want to be confident, work on that. If you're overweight and you want to lose weight, work on that. If you want to improve your speech, read some books. Get what I'm saying? And maintain yourself, man. Like I'm gonna be shaving soon. Maintain yourself. It may not seem important, but it is, man. Take care of yourself, because you look good, you feel good, eat good, you feel good. So slowly work on yourself if you don't know what success means to you. And then once you work on yourself, you will find things that you want to pursue and pursue those things. Focus on them. Lock in this year. You can really change your life. Even if it doesn't change in 1 year, man, it will change in 1 year if you really lock in. But think about this. Don't think about like reaching that goal, right? I say this a couple times too, but like if you reach it, even better. But if you don't, you're gonna be a lot closer to that goal than if you don't do nothing. So even if at the end of the year you don't reach your goal, like let's say your goal is to save $10,000 by the end of the year, and then boom, 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 you're going at it, you're about to reach it, life happens, it brings you back down. Like let's say you're at 8, but life happens, you had to spend some money, now you're at 4, but then by the end of the year you're like around seven grand. You should not feel bad necessarily for not reaching that 10,000, man, because you still got 7,000. You know what I mean? But the thing is, this is where it's important. Maybe you could have been at that 10,000 if that life event didn't happen. But that's what that money was for, right? Emergency or whatever. But then now, so that you can't take away from it. But now think about it. This is where you reflect. Let's say you spent some extra money on something that you shouldn't have spent on because you got a little sad or you weren't feeling your best, so you kind of, spend a little bit extra money eating out. You spend a little money on some hobbies or some things you enjoy, but like it was out of the budget in the moment, so you overspent. And then in those moments is when you reflect and learn from that. So like, okay, so like this week this happened, so it made me feel this way, and then with that happening, I bought this so I could feel better. And then you work on finding ways to find an outlet instead of wasting that money, or spending that money, I should say. You go out for a walk or exercise. And then you figure out what caused you to feel that way, and then you say, okay, this causes me, when I have a bad day at work, it causes me to feel this way, and then it causes me to do that. So one, maybe try finding a new job, and I know that's not an easy thing, but it's a possibility. Finding a new job is difficult, but it's a possibility. Or separate yourself from that person. Or even the hardest one is finding a way to not let whatever happens at work affect you emotionally. And it could be as simple as learning to not care about it. But of course, there has to be a balance, because you don't want to lose the job, especially if you got bills to pay and stuff. So it is hard, but that's where you got to find it for yourself, man. It is going to be hard. I'm not going to tell you that it isn't. It is. But if you want to lock in this year and you want to change and you want to really do the things you've wrote down, do the things you've thought of, you're going to have to freaking go through the hard stuff. But there's ways to make it easier. Learning, hearing other people's advice, different things like that. But no, at the end of the day, it's you that has to lock in. It's you that has to get this done. And it's you that can do it. So lock in this year. Make the change. And take care.